Today, the Trump administration announced new travel limitations and entry limitations for individuals holding Palestinian Authority issued travel documents. So in other words, he is targeting Palestinians following what happened in Australia, the Bondi Beach massacre, which was an anti-Semitic attack targeting Jewish individuals who were celebrating the first day of Hanukkah. Now, let me just note that that attack had absolutely nothing to do with Palestinians and was inspired by ISIS, which happens to be a foe of both Hamas and Iran. But nonetheless, per a statement from the White House, several US designated terrorist groups operate actively in the West Bank or Gaza. Same, right? Same. And have murdered American citizens. Actually, Israel murdered American citizens. Israeli settlers murdered American citizens in the West Bank. But let me continue. Also, the recent war in these areas likely resulted in compromised vetting and screening abilities. In light of these factors, and considering the weak and non-existent control exercised over these areas by the PA, individuals attempting to travel on PA-issued or endorsed travel documents cannot currently be properly vetted and approved for entry into the United States. Now, Cenk, I was led to believe that the Palestinian Authority has been insanely deferential to the Israeli government and has gone out of its way to do what Israel wants in the hopes that maybe, just maybe, the terrorists in Israel will leave the Palestinians in the West Bank alone and stop, stealing land, driving Palestinians out of their homes. It looks like that strategy didn't work at all. They're still being called terrorists. But anyway, what do you think?
Yeah, look, my main question is, when do we ban the Israelis? And they'll all get their feelings hurt over that. Well, you can't do that. No, we get to do it to you. You don't get to do it to us. Really? Who harms this country more? Palestinians who have no power at all, or Israel that has overwhelming power, breaks our laws all the time? In fact, I'm gonna give you specific examples in a second. Controls 94% of our Congress, most of our national media, has taken $300 billion off of us and wants to take another $80 billion in actually just a little while. So I would argue that Israel has done much, much greater damage to this country. In fact, I don't know what damage Palestinians have done. The shooting had nothing to do with the Palestinians. None of these shootings have anything to do with the Palestinians. So,
in fact, Cenk, you want to talk about who's done more harm? Why don't we talk about, look, on a very personal level, who's actually helped us personally? The person who saved my mom's life from, bone marrow cancer was a Palestinian doctor. Literally saved my mom's life. Okay, so it's ridiculous to me that the United States government, yet again, is taking orders from the Israeli government and essentially banning Palestinians from being able to enter our country. And it's not just Palestinians, I wanna be clear about that. The Trump administration also placed new entry limitations on Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, South Sudan, and Syria, where our troops are still stationed for whatever reason.
Yeah. So look, there's a couple of reasons for this ban. One, Muslims are the boogeyman, boo, Muslims, Israel's right, we should kill them and pay Israel to kill them. So that's reason number one. Now, and obviously all of this is ordered by Israel. We got no issues with any of these. Syria's on the list. Donald Trump was spraying perfume on or cologne on their leader a minute ago inside the Oval Office. Donald Trump actually kind of likes Syria. So that's what's amazing about this list. Israel orders Donald Trump to ban these countries, including a country that he has been trying to almost protect from Israel. And he says, yes, sir, absolutely, sir. I'll do anything you order me to. And to be fair, again, of course, Biden did the same exact thing, and all the politicians in my lifetime in America have done the same thing. They all work for Israel because they were all bribed by Israel. The Israeli lobby is the #1 donor for almost every president we've ever had. And the mainstream media's job, of course, is to cover that up. But there's a second reason. Israel realized that, hey, you know what? When Muslims come here, eventually, like with all immigrants, Irish, Italian, Jewish, etc., they become citizens. And Michigan, there was a significant problem for them because it's a swing state and there's a lot of Muslim voters there. So if they allow Muslims into the country, it might start to have some electoral impact, and they don't want that. They want to make sure that Muslims are as powerless in the West and in America as possible. So when they beat the living crap out of them and take their land, we don't object, and in fact, we pay for it, and we go, of course, sir, absolutely, sir. We work for you, sir. So you can keep denying this, but it's absurd.
Have they considered, Cenk, that maybe your distaste for Israel and the Israeli regime might not be rooted in Muslim identity? I would love to decouple from Israel, like literally yesterday, okay?
Yeah.
It's hilarious to me that they never take any ownership of the fact that the constant images of people suffering, children without limbs, stories like that of Hind Rajab, it's amazing to me that they don't think that all of those specific instances that we've been consuming, we've been seeing with our own two eyes and hearing with our own two ears over the last 2 years has no impact on the way the general public views Israel. I mean, Israel can't pay everyone off, okay? Some people won't even take the money. Some people like to be grounded in reality and like to recognize the humanity of people regardless of their identity. But Israel has a hard time accepting that. So the bans on Muslims isn't gonna work. In fact, it's gonna continue fueling anger toward Israel.
Of course it is, but Anna, they're blind. It's a blind giant, and they really have believed their own propaganda. In fact, the #1 target of Israeli propaganda in this country is young Jewish Americans. They've been trying to brainwash them for years and years. Now, remember, you're not really Americans. Your loyalty is to Israel. Israel's the most important thing in the world. Israel, 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 Israel. You should serve Israel, not America. And remember, they're all out to get you. They're going to kill you. They're going to kill your family. If you don't support Israel, all the Jews are going to die. So they've been doing that kind of brainwashing, and a lot of younger Jews are sick of it, okay? And they're sick of Israel hiding behind Jewish Americans, using them as human shields, and to try to excuse all their war crimes and their genocide. So let's talk about the crimes that Israel's committed in this country. And you want to talk about dangerous, and what's amazing about what separates the Israelis from any other country and why they should be at the very top of any country that is banned in America is, they're the only country that has no accountability for their crimes.
Don't forget, Noble Mobile is saving you a ton of money. So a lot of people are signing up now and beginning to realize, what the hell, why am I paying so much to Verizon and AT&T? So your bill's only $50 a month, but it can actually be less because they give you money back if you don't use your data. So if you're paying more than $50, there's no reason to not switch. It's crazy not to switch because same phone, same number, same contacts, literally nothing changes. TYT.com/switch, TYT.com/switch. All right, we'll be right back.
They can commit a crime in America and there will be no accountability. They can create a crime against Americans abroad, there will be no accountability. So now if you think, oh, that's hyperbolic, oh, that sounds like a trope or something. No, let me prove it to you. #1, Robert Maxwell stole our nuclear secrets. The very, very worst thing you could do. The other day, I was like, why did we ever arrest him? And I looked it up. And basically the explanation was it would cause an international incident because it would embarrass the Israelis.
Who cares? The Israelis embarrass themselves every single day.
But wait a minute. If you steal our nuclear secrets, embarrassing you is the very least that we should do, right? And instead, we let him walk. We release Jonathan Pollard. He's back in Israel and talking crap about America 24/7,
a traitor,
rubbing it in our face, slapping us across the face. Ha ha, I betrayed you. And then he encourages other Jewish Americans to betray America on behalf of Israel like he did. Okay, but we're not anywhere near done. So on top of that, we've got Tom Alexandrovich. He's an Israeli cybersecurity official who's here for a conference in Las Vegas, and he thought it was a good opportunity to rape young American girls. So that's what he tried to do. He was caught, good news. What did we do? We released him. Why did we release him? That's insane. Because Israelis can commit any crime here, and they literally have a policy where they say, no, that's it, I'm Jewish. Some people convert to Judaism just to be able to escape justice, and Israel says yes, and they take them in, and they harbor every criminal that claims that he's an Israeli and has committed gross crimes against America. No other country has that. That is super dangerous. We have a petition that our government should represent us and bring back Alexandrovich. I hope you guys can sign it. We'll put the link down below in the description box. But right now, our government isn't even trying to extradite him. They're like, oh, rape any Americans you like. Come on, are we kidding? Epstein is 100% connected to Israel. We've proven it 1,000 times over. And they raped American girls, and no accountability. Not anyone outside of Epstein and Maxwell has ever been prosecuted or brought up on charges, because if you're doing it for Israel, rape away, kill away, and I'm not exaggerating, they also murder Americans and get away with it. Now, if you're finding this talk like, oh wait, that sounds so scary and wrong, Cenk, you shouldn't reveal the crimes of Israel because that could get people to hate Jewish people. No, I love Jewish people. They've been great to me my whole life. This has nothing to do with Jewish people, but this is literal. The Israelis get away with every crime. Do you know that after 9/11, we didn't just arrest 5 guys in New York that were there to document the event? I don't know how they knew there was an event, but they were there to document it, okay? We arrested actually hundreds of Israeli spies. You know what we did with them? They're spies. We got them on a one-way ticket back to Israel.
Well, Ted Cruz says it's okay. We all know that Israel spies on us, and it's okay. We spy on other countries as well, so it's okay to know that our special ally spies on various government agencies, by the way. Whether it's the CIA, FBI, doesn't matter. I mean, former CIA agents or analysts who are now whistleblowers talk about it. John Kirakou is a perfect example. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It really is. And I know you're gonna get to what has transpired in the West Bank ever since the start of the genocide, which, by the way, West Bank had nothing to do with what happened on October 7th, that's for sure. But a lot of Americans, Cenk, I believe, have lost their lives. Am I right about that?
Oh, 100%. So let's go to that. I actually put on Twitter about how the Israelis had killed 6 or 7 Americans in the West Bank, and there was no accountability. And some pro-Israel guy was like, oh, Grok, show him what really happened. And Grok came up with this list, and they said, no, Cenk is right. And in fact, he's undercounting. So I can read you all these names, but these are 9 Americans that were murdered by either Israeli settlers or the IDF. And if you look at the whole list, Grok tells you no accountability at all. And they say 9 to 10 cases since 2022, that's just in the last 3 years, with patterns of impunity. I'll just real quick, I'm not gonna read you all of it, I'm just gonna read you the consequences. Israel found no link, no action. Second one, no charges. Third one, US demanded investigation, none concluded. Fourth one, called for accountability, no response. Fifth one, Israel dismissed officers, no US sanctions. That's because that guy wasn't Muslim, so that's the only time that anyone was fired over murdering Americans. Next one, US deemed unjustified, no probe. US expressed alarm, no follow-up. US offered condolences, no accountability. US urged probe, unclear outcome. Literally 9 to 10 Americans murdered by Israel with absolutely zero accountability, not 1 day in jail for a single Israeli. These are the most dangerous people to let into our country because they can commit almost any crime against us. And our government, since they work for Israel and they don't work for us, will release them. We'll give them total impunity to commit any crime against America. The Palestinians don't have that kind of impunity. People from Burkina Faso don't have that kind of impunity. There's only one country that has that impunity, and that's Israel. And so, look, first of all, we also have a petition that if anyone takes money from the Israeli lobby, make a pledge to never, ever vote for them because they're gonna betray you. That's the whole point of taking money from AIPAC and the Israeli lobby is to betray America and to serve Israel instead. We'll put the link down in the description box, okay? But the bottom line is there is a country we should ban, it's Israel. They're super dangerous, and then when their assets are here, they attack Americans 24/7. We have more stories later in the show about how they brag about it. They want lifelong consequences for any American who dares to criticize Israel. These are the biggest thugs in the country. I'm not talking about Jewish people. You should never ban Jewish people. You should never ban Muslims, Christians, anyone like that, right? But if they're, especially if they're Israeli government officials, they're gonna spot it. With Kirakou, the former CIA officer that Anna mentioned, in an interview, he said, we wouldn't let him into the CIA. He's like, because literally every single time they came, they tried to bug our offices. And by the way, when they do that, you're supposed to arrest them. But nope, they're from Israel. They have blanket immunity to do any crime to America and get away with it. And we're banning the completely powerless Palestinians. This is a sick joke, not on the Palestinians, on America. And by the way, I wore this shirt today. Real Americans love Palestinians, and we feel for you, and especially now because we're occupied like you are. We're a much larger country serving this tiny country that has completely bought our politicians and our national media and oppresses us every single day.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.